In today's video tutorial, we are making a fault line cake. Fault line cakes are everywhere right now in cake decorating, and the options are endless. But for today's cake, we are making a watermelon theme, which is perfect for summer. Okay, for this cake design, I am going to be making a double barrel cake. This is a 6-inch cake, and I have 4 cake layers. If you've never seen me make a double barrel before, I'll just show you really quickly. I am putting in bubble tea straw supports, or you can use your favorite supports, whatever you like, but you'll want to make sure that they're cut just slightly shorter than the height of the bottom 2 filled layers. And then after putting them in, I'm just going to add a little more frosting. And I'm using our fluffy vanilla buttercream recipe, but you can just use whatever recipe you like. I do think that one that contains butter is easier than an all shortening frosting for the design that we're doing today, just because it will firm up more quickly in the freezer. Okay, so once we have that frosted, I am gonna put a little cardboard cake circle. I've cut it down so that it's smaller than the diameter of the cake. If you'd like to add a little circle of parchment paper beneath this, that would be fine too. It will help keep the frosting from sticking to the board. Okay, so I'm just going to put that down, and the supports that we put in will hit this board whenever I stack my second 2 layers on top. So basically this is like a stacked tiered cake, but the 2 tiers are the same size. Okay. I don't think this will slide around, but we'll put some frosting just in case. And then I'm just going to fill as usual, and we'll top it off with our final layer. Okay, so a few hours have passed, and as you can see, I have my cake layers that are filled. They're all wrapped up in plastic wrap, and I had placed 2 8-inch cake pans stacked on top. You could use all sorts of things for the weight, but doing this step, I do it for all of my cakes if I'm able to, and it will settle your cake layers so that you don't have bulges later on after you've applied your final coat of frosting or fondant. So this just gets all of that settling out of the way by adding just a light but steady pressure to the top. You could do this for a few hours or overnight. Okay, so I've just unwrapped our cake, and I have a couple of places that I can see here and there when I'm just looking along the side of the cake. I have some places that need to be trimmed just a little bit so everything lines up just like it should. So I'm just going to go in with a serrated knife and just do a little trimming. Okay, so I have just crumb coated my cake, and I am going to chill it just to firm things up a little bit because everything is really soft right now. I'm going to freeze it for maybe 15 minutes, and we'll meet right back. Okay, so I had placed my cake in the freezer for about 15 minutes or so to firm things up, and now I'm going to add the red part of our watermelon. And so I've tinted my buttercream with Americolor Red Red, but you could also use pink if you want to go for more of a pink look, or even pastel pink if you want it to be everything to be nice and light. But I'm just going to carry the red all the way around the middle, and I just know that some of this is going to be covered up when we add our green a little bit later, but so I'm making it slightly wider than probably it will be in the end. I'm going to go around with a bench scraper. Just to smooth things out a little bit. Okay, I also wanted to go ahead and add my seeds now, the watermelon seeds, and you'll just need a small round tip and your buttercream tinted dark gray or black. This is a tip 4, but any similar tip is fine. I'm just going to pipe some teardrop shaped seeds, just kind of here and there. Okay, so I'm just going to take this all the way around, and I'm going to freeze the cake for about 15 minutes just to firm things up before we go in and add our green stripes. Okay, so this has firmed up, and now I'm ready to build out the green stripes. And we want, because it's a fault line look, we want the stripes to be built out more than the middle part. I'm going to be working with dark green and light green, and we're just going to alternate stripes. So I don't have a piping tip in my bag. I've just snipped away the end of the piping bag, and the opening is probably a little more than what a tip 12 would be. And we'll just go back and forth. It does not have to be exact. And I'm adding a lot of pressure because I do want it to be nice and thick. Okay. I'm just continuing on. And this gives us the look of, of a striped watermelon. You do want to build it out if you can, because when we go back over it with a bench scraper, we don't want to have to worry about scraping the red. We only want the scraper to be touching the green. So I think I will go ahead and double up on my frosting now. Just do a second layer to make sure it's really thick. Okay, I've been continuing to build things out. I decided I want to go add one more stripe down here because my opening I want to make slightly smaller, and I want it to look like more of an equal amount of stripes on each side. So I know this is a funny angle, but you can see there what I did. Yeah, I'm gonna squeeze some more seeds since we had to cover some of ours up. Okay, so you can see I spread some of our darker green on top, but for right now I'm gonna go ahead and scrape the sides with this long bench scraper. And so you can see when I'm holding the bench scraper, I should be coming into contact with the green, not so much the red. I don't wanna get all of those colors mixed up. Let me just turn it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to stop and scrape. Okay, and this is going to give us, this is a good place to start. Once I've scraped all the way around, I'm going to freeze it, and then we'll go over it again to kind of fine-tune things. Okay, let me fix, whoops. Let's see if I can clean this up just a little bit. In the places where the frosting isn't quite as built out, you'll have little dips right here. So that's something that I can fix after it's chilled. So I'm going to chill it, and then we'll come back and neaten things up. Okay, so now I'm basically just filling in any low points that I had that didn't get quite as smooth as I wanted. So I'm dipping my bench scraper into some very hot water. We'll just glide over. And I need to scrape this one more time. I'm going to use this long one. Just fill in any low spots. Okay, so I've just been continuing to smooth out all of my lines. And as I said before, they're not going to be perfectly symmetrical lines, and that's okay. If you are going for just like a really perfectly striped look, you could do the combed look that's popular now, where you go over your frosting with a comb, and then in the parts that are not raised, you would pipe in a different color. But to me, this is just much easier. And with watermelons, they don't have perfect stripes. So this is what I was going for, to have the nice thick green colors of frosting raised up to give it dimension. And you can go in, if you'd like to, and kind of neaten things up, but they're still going to be really irregular edges. Okay, now for the top, I had thought about maybe putting a light green circle on top to kind of continue the pattern, but I think I'd rather just do dark green just to simplify things. So I'm just going to spread on more of our darker green, and most likely I'm going to want to chill this in the freezer one last time. Any edges, unless you're going for sort of a built-up look around your edges, which would be more irregular looking, you can just gently smooth any excess frosting to the middle. And I'm just going to pop this in the freezer, and we'll meet back to just kind of fine-tune everything. Okay, so after chilling my cake in the freezer to firm things up, I just went over the top of the cake with a hot spatula to smooth things out a little bit more. And now I'm going to transfer it to my pedestal. So I've put on a little bit of buttercream onto the pedestal. I've also taken my spatula, or you could use a thin knife, and just put it beneath the cake board and spin it around. And I've already been all the way around once. You have to do this so that the seal of icing will release, because it's really stuck on there by the time you're finished. Okay. And now I'm just going to move this over. You want to do this ideally when the buttercream is nice and firm. It's just easier that way. Okay. And you'll just move it either to your pedestal or to your cake drum or cake base of choice. Okay, so our cake is finished. I love how this turned out. It would be so much fun for summertime parties. And as you saw, the fault line cake is not a difficult technique to do, and the options are endless. I did not put a bottom border along the bottom. I didn't feel like I needed one, but you could do a small bead border or small shell border if you have any rough edges that you'd like to hide. So anyway, I hope you'll give this technique a try. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.